Hey, Retcon Raider here. It's hard to believe it, but another year has passed, with December officially marking my 20th month on YouTube. It's been quite a ride so far, with almost 2 million views spread out over roughly 400 videos since I first started the channel back in 2017. Sadly, while 2018 was actually a pretty great year, setting several new records for the channel, it looks like we closed things out on a bit of a low note. Between the holidays and whatever's going on with YouTube's algorithms, December was actually our slowest month of the entire year. Let's take a quick look at the numbers, and then I'll share my thoughts on the whole thing. Now, according to the analytics, we closed out December with a total of just 233 new subscribers and 64,000 global views. Ouch. That's actually our worst number since October of 2017. Way back when the channel was just getting started. To make matters even worse, it also looks like YouTube decided to do an end-of-year account purge. That means our net subscriber gain for December was actually just a paltry 95 subscribers. To be fair though, I'm assuming those were all spammer accounts or accounts that had otherwise been deactivated, so I guess I really wouldn't want those subscribers anyway. That said, I'm actually not all that concerned about the lagging numbers. Like I said last month, as long as the channel is still growing, it means that I'm presumably still doing something right. Sure, I could obviously be doing better, but I'm certainly not going to start stressing out over it. Not unless I start seeing some actual net losses. Thankfully, the numbers in January do look like they're starting to move back in the right direction. It's a slow build for now, but hopefully we'll start building up momentum once we get a little closer to the summer. The one thing I am a little concerned about is the ad revenue, which seems to be all over the place at the moment. Between the sluggish growth and whatever's going on behind the scenes over at YouTube, I'm actually getting even less than I was during the adpocalypse of 2017, and the other adpocalypse of early 2018. I know I've mentioned it before, but I actually operated the channel at a loss over the first several months, and my overhead's only gotten even higher since then. I do enjoy running the channel, but I enjoy it a little less when I'm essentially paying for the privilege to do so. We're not quite in the danger zone just yet, but I'm definitely keeping a close eye on the situation. Fortunately, I do have a bit of a safety net, thanks to the continued generosity of my patrons over on Patreon. I was also lucky enough to get an unexpected windfall from the Mutant Year Zero affiliate program that suddenly popped up in mid-December. I'll tell you, I was really hesitant to sign up at first. The last thing I want is for people to start calling me a sellout, but you guys were all pretty cool about it. Now, obviously, I can't really rely on that sort of thing happening on a regular basis. I do actually get a fair amount of offers for minor sponsorship deals, but they mostly come from dodgy websites or for legitimate products I'm just not comfortable talking about. Still, given how well this whole Mutant Year Zero thing has worked out, I might end up signing up for a few more affiliate programs in the future, assuming they're for RPGs or strategy games, and that I was already going to talk about them anyway. At any rate, that's pretty much all I have to say about December, so let's spend a little time talking about my plans for the new year. I will be keeping things a little vague here, since it's still too early to set anything in stone, but I'd at least like to give you a good general idea of what I'm going for. First of all, I'll obviously be continuing my current ongoing projects. Although the numbers have dropped off a bit, both Kingmaker and Mutant Year Zero are still my two best performing series. I'm actually hoping to wrap up the Mutant Year Zero series within the next couple of months, likely by mid to late March. That should theoretically free up a slot in my production schedule just in time for Backer Build 4 for Phoenix Point, so I should be able to switch tracks pretty smoothly. I'll also be continuing my two current secondary projects, Darkest Dungeon and Phantom Doctrine. Although both of those series are still moving pretty slowly, I'm at least happy to have them moving again. I'd also love to get back to Battletech at some point, but for now, I've decided to put that series on temporary hiatus, at least until I can find some way to speed up the overall production process. As always, that's really what it ends up coming down to. Making these videos takes time, and I'm struggling to find some way to expedite the process. Back when the channel first started, I was putting out between 20 to 25 videos a month, and I still have no idea how I managed to maintain that kind of pace. These days, I'm lucky if I can finish 15 videos a month, which means I really have to be careful about how I choose to spend my time. Unfortunately, that does mean that I end up having to skip over a lot of games that I'd really love to spend some time with. I've had a lot of people ask me about games like Adeptus Mechanicus, Addam RPG, Felseal, Kenshi, RimWorld, or even Battle Brothers, now that the new expansion has been released. These are all games that I'd love to make videos about, but thus far, I've resisted the urge. My production schedule is already cluttered enough, and my current series are already coming out too slowly as it is. Anyway, as always, it's a work in progress. I am still experimenting with new recording and editing techniques, so hopefully I can make some sort of breakthrough in 2019. And, I suppose that's pretty much it. December was another fairly slow month, so there's not really much else to talk about. Of course, I can't just leave it like that, so, that said, this fuzzball is the notorious LBC, or just Ellie for short. She's a short-haired domestic calico that I've been happy to own for almost 4 years now. I mentioned it last time, but the vast majority of the cats I end up with are strays or hand-me-downs, and Ellie was certainly no exception. While Kaiser was a cat I adopted from a local shelter, Ellie is a stray that quite literally wandered into my home. She was extremely friendly, making it obvious that she was used to being around humans and other cats, but I couldn't seem to find anyone in the neighborhood who recognized her. Since she seemed to be microchipped, I ended up taking her to a local vet, and that's where things ended up getting interesting. Long story short, it turned out she had somehow wandered over 10 miles from home, and she had picked up fleas and a bad case of hookworm in the process. By the time the vet got in touch with her former owners, she had already been missing for over a month, and they didn't seem very keen on getting her back. She was destined for an animal shelter, but the vet called me first, and since I already knew what a sweetheart she was, it was an easy choice to make. I never actually met her previous owners, but the general impression I got is that they already had several cats, none of them spayed or neutered. I'm guessing this is why Ellie is easily the most social cat I've ever owned, in stark contrast to the grumpy loners I'd had up until that point. It was actually kind of amazing watching her work, and before long, it seemed like she was grooming and interacting with all of my other cats on a regular basis. She took a particular interest in little baby Kaiser when I first adopted him, and he was small enough to fit inside a shoe. I'm guessing it was just instinct, but she really seemed to take a liking to him, often pinning him down so she could groom him to her heart's content. Sadly, that's something she can't really get away with anymore, now that he's 3 years older, and almost twice her size. I suppose that's enough cat talk for now, so let's go ahead and start winding things down. As usual, I'd like to close things out by giving thanks to all of you, the viewers, the whole reason I started doing this in the first place. As always, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for people like you, and I'm grateful for every like, view, or subscription that you happen to toss my way. I'd also like to give special thanks to my patrons, the fine folks who are generous enough to help support the channel financially. I'm especially grateful for their support on months like this one, when YouTube's ad revenue just can't seem to get the job done. It's thanks to people like them that I can still afford to spend so much of my time working on all these video projects. So, with that in mind, special thanks to my honorary raiders from December: Addam Hall, Austin Fagan, Brad Quinn, Cecil Kane, Demetre Foster, James Trimmier, Mark Richards, MidnightSun, Mr. Scar Lectures, Pontus Lundberg, and Stjepan Lovasic. And extra special thanks to my veteran raiders from December: AdriRaven, Ash, Drakiith, Drunken Gunslinger, Forbidden One, IceApple23, Jonathan Tanner, Laura and Mike, Mildly Nuclear, Nazzul, Sir Skelibate, Valinrook, and Woe77. Oh, and special mention to Revenant and Rowan Church, my Raider Lord and Captain respectively. As usual, they're the only people crazy enough to continue supporting the channel at the 2 highest tiers, even though, I'll admit, I don't have much to offer in return. Well, videos, I suppose. Hopefully, that's enough. And of course, if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to check out the links to my PayPal and Patreon accounts below. It may not seem like much, but even $1 can help make a difference, and all that money goes towards overhead and channel-related expenses, paying for things like equipment, games, software, and the caffeine that I need to keep making new videos. Anyway, I think we can agree that that's enough begging for 1 month, so let's go ahead and wrap things up for now. This is Retcon Raider, signing off. Thanks for listening. Oh, and remember, if you need to contact me for any reason, you can do it through the comments section on any of my videos, or you can reach me through my Facebook page, my Patreon account, or my official email address. As always, links are in the description.